Hello, and I'm Chris Randall, joined by Kitty Weiner. Kitty, how are you today? And welcome back. Going well. Excited here for some badminton. Last year we did this and we learned a lot, and I'm hoping to do the same this year.
Yeah, it should be a good game.
Little bit, but why don't you say a little bit on like how that works exactly?
Yeah, so with the scoring, every game is up to 21. Changes is that and it has to be a 2-point lead at 20. So 20 all, the side that ends up with 2 more points. The only time that would change, 9 all, 30 is the match. And then what happens is that at the end of the team, you can have up to 2 minutes. The team change sides.
Is it one
best
game?
2 out of
Best
3.
2 out of 3?
Yeah.
And those are considered sets, right? You win one set.
Yeah, it's a match.
Yep.
It's a match. And then the only time they would change sides is if they do go to a third match, when they get to 11 points, the teams change sides.
So then that way, in that third match, that would determine it. If a win or a loss, you get a chance on both sides.
Yeah.
What does this look like when you're getting ready here? Like, how do you...
So really, this is just a warm-up. You're really not, because it's just a straight volley back and forth.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, because of where we're positioned and how many teams are on the court, it's really difficult for us. There's no freeze, there's no scoring mechanism. So as you know from doing this, a couple of times with me, it's really hard to know who's winning and what the scores are. We're sometimes kind of guessing at this,
Yeah.
if you will. But we end up becoming a little bit more of color commentary and a little bit more education about badminton itself and some of its history.
So, on our right, it's going to be doubles 1, and then doubles 2 right to the left, and then 3 and 4 down here. Do all the 1s play each other, and then all the 2s play each other, or like how does that work in pairing each other up?
Each will decide who is their top one to be in those 2 slots. It's usually the best students first, the best players first.
Yeah.
And then as the matches go on, you get a little bit further down as it goes. A couple of things to point out. So with doubles, the court lines are the far gray lines. The only time you'll see that change is when you get a little bit towards the center with our emblem with the grenadier. The court color changes from gray to like a neutral in some places. It makes it a little difficult. It is still a gentleman's sport. It's still on the honor system. And you won't see referees, you won't see line judges. If for some reason there is just something that happened that the 2 teams cannot agree upon, they'll call a coach. It's a gentleman's sport.
So that was my next question is, what exact lines are they playing at here? And you said at the far. So, but if the birdie lands on line, is that in or is that considered out?
That would be considered in. Anything out.
Yeah. And then obviously.
Yeah, so it looks like, so if you're looking at your screen right now, the 2 that we'll be working on will start, it's going to be from left to right, it's going to be the third court.
Yeah.
We'll start there, and if that match ends to the left, and it looks like they're going to get ready to start.
Yeah. A couple of the other matches have started. 2 other varsity matches that are below us, and then a couple of the JGV matches on the side. But the 2 that we're highlighting have not started yet. On your right screen right now, which is court number 3, that's JV or varsity 1, and then the court on the left of your screen is varsity 2. As both are just grabbing a sip of water and looking ready to roll. So as I'm kind of looking here, players are switching back and forth on what side they're serving on.
Yeah,
is there a different strategy for that?
So even numbered score serves on the right side, odd serves on the left, and your server will go back and forth based on the rally of the wind.
Okay. So you're not changing server per rally, you're just changing what side.
That's correct.
So when you are serving, is there a certain way that you have to serve? Obviously, it's underhand. No, would that be a penalty if you went overhand or in?
Yeah, it's completely not allowed.
Okay.
So what happens is on the serve. So Bartlett just served. They lost. It came to Elk Grove. That one's going to stay with Elk Grove.
Yeah.
What happens? Goes to the left. When scoring, a couple things. When serving, it always has to be hit underhand. Your racket may not hit the birdie above your waist. At no time during the serve, feet leave the court.
Okay.
So the tips of your toes, your flat foot, whatever it is, but you cannot. It's not like tennis where you can jump up
and serve. Yeah.
Your feet have to stay completely, some part of both feet have to stay on the ground.
Okay. So when you're serving, you have to side or serve diagonally as well,
That's
right?
Correct. And then once that's happened, and it doesn't matter what side you're on, but then once diagonal and they've returned it, it can go anywhere. Yeah.
So while serving, there's that 10-foot line that, or however many distance that is. So it's got to land in that square, and then how far back into that square is it allowed to go as well on the serve? Okay.
Anywhere as long as it's in line.
And then when are you able to move across that 10-foot line? Or
once you've hit it.
Once you've hit it, then you can go anywhere.
Yeah. And a couple of things to watch for, and in this game, it's slower of a moving game. A couple of ways that you can really score quickly is a smash. Mm-hmm. So a smash is basically an overhead hit, over the shoulder hit. It's coming down with directness. It's coming down with velocity.
Okay.
And generally it lands right near where your opponent is located.
Okay.
The other way that is a really great way to obtain the score is simply by hitting trying to go center mass of your opponent. And just hitting them with it, essentially. Yeah, you want to look for, if you can't do the smash, you want to get that center mass of your opponent. So basically, like chest to waist in that area. The problem, why it makes it so difficult, that serve or the hit during a volley, is because you can't get your racket moved to the center of your body. So you literally have to try and position it, and it's very, very difficult to return that. Yeah. Like when you're serving, that side that you serve on, do you have to stay on that side of the court the entirety of the point? No. Just during the serve? Just hit the serve, and then once it's hit the other side, you can start moving. Okay. So let's say goes down, is there a way to call a timeout, try and regroup, or is it just figure it out on the fly? You're going. Yeah. You're going the whole time until the end, unless your opponent calls you out for an error. The wrong side of the court during the serve. Okay. That will stop play. And
is serving or calling like the score while serving, that is a huge part of the game as well.
Score must be called, and whoever is serving is calling their first,
no matter winning
no
or
matter
losing.
what. So even if the team that is serving has the lower score, it's their score that goes first.
Then what happens in that scenario?
They'll call you out on it, and then the opposite team, the opposing team, gets the serve. You have to call the serve every time.
Every time.
Yeah, you have to call the score.
So what is the main? So if you're a player is singles and doubles, how important is one of like doing that? Like moving from not communicating with a partner to communicating with a partner, like how important is that?
Yeah, so with doubles, communication is key, because what you have hit the serve, when the serve has come over, you see one become dominant on one side of the court, one becomes dominant from front to back. So Bartlett is serving now. She served opposite side, but then you see the girls switch. Mm-hmm. So you see one that'll go up front, one that'll go back, but they have it helps if they call it.
Yeah. And how does that, like, how would calling it, like, say, like, to your left kind of thing?
You'll yell out, you'll say, you know, it really depends on the team, but they'll
Yeah.
say they've got it, they'll tell position. See, now that from Elk Grove, that was kind of a smash. It went down hard right in its feet.
Mm-hmm. And that just makes it way harder
hard to return.
Yeah.
You know, in professional badminton, a smash hit can go as fast as 240 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
At the high school level, they can go anywhere from 80 to 100 miles an hour if they get it center mass of the racket. Now, see, she tried there to get center mass on Elk Grove.
Yeah.
And it didn't work. It came back.
And earn the point there for Elk Grove.
It did.
And something similar, you hit it out and it goes into that court next to you. What exactly happens there? For one, the court that is still being played or yours, like, do you have to wait until you just trying not to interfere?
Yeah, you're trying not to ever interfere with the team's net. Now, see, Elk Grove did the smash there. They got
the point.
They got the point on that. A lot of times what you'll see, too, if you can watch the matches, the person that is serving, you might see them put up a finger or two fingers. That's telling their team member behind them how far they're into their opponent. You would just put it into the regulation area.
Okay.
If you put up two fingers, you were saying, hey, I'm going to try and hit a little further back.
Yeah.
And that was really based on us watching our opponent and knowing where the strength was.
Okay.
Because you have to remember, you either have to realize that with badminton, it's not just hitting this back and forth. Team members can run up to a mile a match, going back and forth or frontwards or sideways. You really have to do strength training with this, not just upper body strength, but you've got to do your leg strength. You're stopping and you're pivoting on a dime sometimes to get the birdie.
There's Bartlett. Game one is still going on while the game next to it has concluded, so we're assuming that it's a somewhat close of a score here. It does seem like they're trading back and forth.
Their rallies lasted. And in between match to the other, like I said, you get the time when the coaches may come over and give them some pointers on what they're seeing about either how they're playing or how their opponents are playing.
Okay. And during that time, how do you in or after? Or,
If they're really watching their opponents, they're going to be talking about and what they can do in the next to keep that that
to
rally
either tie it up or
to keep it to them.
is there a difference? I mean, I guess this is gym based, but is there a difference on what side of the court you want to be on, like what side of the net?
No. I've never found that in all my time of watching or when I played. My daughter played here also. I've never really.
Once again, the two varsity or the four varsity carts are in the middle, and the JVs are on the side.
Like that's one that like the girl smashed it right through and it literally dropped at the feet.
Yeah.
Right, so now it's outgrowth serve. Went into the net, so that goes, the point of the serve goes to Bartlett.
So what if what kind of net violations are there? Like if you touch the net on an attack, is that a violation? If the birdie hits the net and goes over?
Yeah, so the person may never touch the net. Your racket cannot touch the net, and the birdie can't.
Okay. How does that work? As it's counted as a continuation, like you're able to return it back, or as soon as net, it's dead ball or dead birdie?
Yeah, it's dead. Yes. Grove returned it. So that's outgrowth point and serve.
So a lot of the players go more towards the smash, other than like a type of drop shot or a little more loop. Is that just
drop shots are really effective over the net, force your opponent to run to the net.
okay?
Because as soon as they run to the net, they're leaving a lot of the center section open.
Okay.
And it's very hard if you're in the back to get forward fast enough to get it over the section open. Once you get it back, you have a good chance at getting to drop in the center of your opponent, and you'll get the point.
Okay. And that's all based on like positioning of where your opponents kind of are.
Absolutely. And that's part of watching your opponent is looking for their strengths and weaknesses. Can they run fast? Can they move up fast, back fast?
Yeah.
Where is their strengths and weaknesses?
So like from what it kind of looks like here on this game that we're watching right now is Bartlett's kind of sitting back a little bit, maybe smashing a little bit more. So that's when you just kind of try and pull that.
The girl from Bartlett, she's on the left side. She's pretty good at doing the smash.
Okay.
She's gotten it on us a couple of times. That time she hit it into net, so it came back to outgrowth.
Yeah. So in that scenario, we've seen a lot that it only one hit. Is there a way to do like it's only one hit and over, right?
One hit per side.
Yeah.
And this on varsity 2, which is on court 2 here, they're hitting pretty hard.
Yeah.
I mean, they're looking to end the rally.
So how? Obviously, the longer the rally goes, the more tired one than another gets. But
Absolutely. Them out, you're going to make them run.
Yeah, back and forth.
Yeah.
And is that just like more of a like we're kind of better than you? Like we'll just keep here hanging in, and smash it, get a point every single hit, or like is there strategic of like, all right, we're going to try and tire you out for a couple points and then blow the gates open?
Think, In my experience, if you just want to get this over with,
You just
you're
roll
gonna
them.
smash, go to center mass on the body so that they can't return it.
Yeah.
The thing you have to remember too with this is that if you watch the head of the racket, your arm ends and where the racket head is, that's where the birdie is going to go.
Okay.
You can't hit it with a forward hit and expect it to go to the right side. It's going to go to your left side. The only time that would be different is that if you're doing a side hit or an underhand hit. But generally, where the head of your racket ends is where you'll see that birdie, the birdie end up.
So we have our first two games here done. One being JV or varsity 3, and then one of the JV games. So that this would be filled in with like a JV, like 4 courts of varsity, and then the rest being JV.
Yeah, if we're looking at court 2, the girls on both sides are hitting pretty hard, but the problem when you do that is sometimes you don't know your own strength, and unless you're getting the head of the racket to point down,
Okay.
you're hitting it far and you're hitting it out.
Yeah.
And your opponent's going to get it.
Yeah. Into the net.
Yeah.
Was a good rally there, like you
Yeah,
said.
it was for a good rally for a second. But you can see when she comes down, when it's hitting the net, it's because you're not positioning your body properly to catch the birdie as it's coming in.
Okay. So we talked a lot about the birdie. Obviously they're plastic and not the sturdiest. So what happens if you hit it so So if that happens though mid rally to play
And
it.
stop for a second. A lot of times they'll let the opponent know that they're changing it out.
Okay. So then mid rally and it stops. Is it a replay kind of thing, or are you trying to finish that point before
You'll finish
switching?
the point.
Finish the point before switching the birdie.
Yeah.
No, and
unless they notice it at the serve, which you don't see happen very often.
very often.
Not at this level. In the
Yeah.
pros, you will.
And why is it's formed kind of thing?
Yeah, and the birdies at this level versus what you might see in the Olympics, they're two totally different types of birdies. You don't get this same, these are truly plastic birdies. They can stand up to a lot. When you're playing with, let's say maybe the Olympics, when these were actually feathered birdies, believe it or not, each birdie had 11 feathers. I don't know what the difference is, but that's how they used to be made. Now, over time, it's changed. It's, when you're at the academic level, costs come into it, obviously.
Yeah, of course. Just looking at, did finish first varsity pod that we were watching at the start of the telecast. There's a good rally here between the two.
Yeah, and with court 2, with that varsity, this is going to third game.
So talking to each of the players and
Yeah, so it's over. Otherwise, they would have walked off.
walked off.
And the next team would have come up. So they've started back on.
During this time, it still goes to 21, correct? It's not a shrinkage of points like how you would see in volleyball.
21.
Okay. So then in that, when we get to that 11 mark between one another, is there a point where the coaches can go back and regroup with one of them, or is it? Okay. So what happens if one of the players kind of gets hurt or something, and move it over, or
It depends on the situation.
Okay.
I have seen where they'll call a medical timeout. Maybe a girl to their ankle. If they're playing completely, and it happened years ago with Elk Grove when they were in the sectionals. The girls are running so hard, they just can't get their win.
And that,
Like I said, it can be a very difficult play to keep.
so, but other than an injury type substitution, there's no substituting mid-match.
No,
It's
your
once.
players. Medical timeout. In my history here, I don't know, if that's how they still do it at the IHSA level, but if you had to have a medical and they couldn't play,
In a way, similar sense of like in tennis, like, you've seen like someone quote unquote retire and that's just due to medical, and then next week they're back out on. So it's very similar in that
it
aspect.
is.
Going back to rotations, if you're out of rotation, is there like a penalty to that, like you're serving from the wrong side at the wrong moment, or is it
Yeah, it'll go if you cannot serve from the wrong side. The other team.
okay?
So on court 3,
Looks like they'll be going back
they
to
may have hit 11.
match 2, correct?
Yeah, they might.
Yeah.
Over here on the left, they were in match 3.
So there you saw where she said 1. That's kind of what you were talking about earlier on how she was looking.
Yeah, they communicate with their teammate behind them and let them know what their plan is.
It does look like that other match is going to a third game, which is great. 2 very competitive type matches then here, the 2 higher varsities. So how, like, during this time, do you want, like, you just won the second set, tied it up, do you want a longer break to recatch your breath, or like you feel like you're rolling, you want to continue to like step on the gas?
You're entitled to the 2 minutes.
Okay.
So if your opponent doesn't come back to the court before the 2 minutes, you're stuck waiting. You can see it now.
Yeah.
Grove hasn't come back on. And it looks like they're calling for their...
Someone to come fill up water.
Yeah.
In case you don't come back in time, do you start other teams start gaining points at like because you haven't come back on time, or how does that work?
No, you have to come back on time or
you can lose. So how do you determine on who's serving here first, especially in this last set or match?
winner serves.
At all times. So with Elk Grove serving first, they're going to call it in.
That one was in. So she didn't catch it. Good shot because she got it just to skim the top of the net, and Elk Grove for it. So when she hit it, she hit the net. When you hit lower, it's sometimes harder to get back aloft.
Okay. So we haven't seen it today, but if you're serving and you birdie,
Gets the point and the birdie.
and how does that, like, how often does that happen?
You don't really see that happen too often.
No.
We're seeing a lot of it getting hit into the net today,
Okay.
and that's really kind of
Leaving the face open / closed and whatnot.
or you're holding it straight on, and if you're holding the racket straight on so that it's hitting low, it's gonna go right into the net.
Okay. As the players on that side over there switch, so they're possibly down to their final 10 points. court 2. We'll go back over to the court 3/1.
Yeah, and they've got it. Oh. See, it was a decent rally, but the girl from Bartlett, the way she hit it, she brought it down, and like we said before, where the racket head goes is where the birdie goes, and it went down. And
Okay, so we kind of talked about the Olympics in a little bit. Like, how would you say changed in good ways and bad ways throughout the sport?
Fortunately, in the United States, it just hasn't caught on quite as much. Asian countries, this is a big. Even here in the United States, you can get scholarships to college based on how well you. But in the Olympics, last time I checked, of all of the medals that were won, I think 106 out of 120 some were all won by the Asian cultures.
Okay.
So the speed and the strength of how they hit is mind-blowing. Now we got, so Outgrove missed it there, but that looked like it might end up being a good rally.
Where it
Wasn't where it should have been. And she went for it, the birdie wasn't there. In the proper position and went into the net. Bartlett.
Point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we talked about like smash, trying to hit it at them, drop in ways of attacking, or is there some others that, you know?
No, actually, I mean, those really are the three biggest. Drop. You have to have a little bit more skill to get
Finesse
it to drop exactly. Your opponent for that. A lot of kids at this level, they'll try the smash shot. Really depends. It's a training thing.
Practicing, how does practicing work? Are you working with your partner, like playing other players on the team? Are you?
I think, me personally, I think you should play against as many people as you can.
Okay.
Because you know, when you're playing other schools, you never know who your opponents are going to be or how good they're going to be.
And like, are you?
Yeah, Bartlett just had a hard shot at that.
Yeah, and looks like they got to that 11th point there to switch sides. During your practices, like you're staying a lot with.
Yeah, see, she just did a birdie switch there.
Yeah. Are you staying, like for doubles specifically? Are you practicing with your partner majority of the time? Or?
With that person most of the year, or with the same couple of people, that's really where that's where your strength comes from as a team.
Okay.
You should practice with a few of the other members that are the strong. But practicing with your partner, it's like any other sport. It's how you get better.
Yeah. So if you're someone that does doubles and singles, practice wise, like you're doing your doubles practice first and then moving over to your singles.
It's really hard to do it.
But there would be like majority of teams, coaches will have like a designated doubles side of practice and a singles side of practice.
Well, they could be practicing at the same time. The coach is going to decide based on court two. It looks like they've completed.
Yeah.
But if you're stronger as a single, even though you might be playing doubles, the coach might have you practice singles more. And singles is much harder than doubles because you are covering a lot more.
But that would be the smaller of the lines, correct?
Yes. But you're still doing a lot
lot more running, as kind of we're starting to see here on some of the other courts. But how do, like, obviously it's player pick kind of thing, but how would you, like, what was your
Good recovery on Elk Grove there.
yeah, what was your preference of doing doubles or singles, like, and why?
Me personally, I like doubles,
Okay.
but you really have to communicate
Kate.
well. They're trying hard to retire.
And Elk Grove wins that point.
It looks like the birdie is going to go out of bounds. You'll see one of the team players lift a racket to tell you it's in, let you know, or you'll hear him call it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with our headsets, we can't
Hear fully
call.
the
Yeah, we can't
communication
hear
with
fully.
one another.
It's more watching, but if you watch it, you can tell. And see right there, she came straight across with the head of her racket. The racket head is exactly the same as the net, and that's exactly why it went into the net.
And it wasn't a
Some loft.
swing and miss
Yeah.
on that one.
She wanted that point, and she went right into the net. And for that one, even though she came high, she hit it when. And that's what caused it to go into the net. If she had hit it a little bit higher, it would have gone across.
Across. As that was
a
smashed.
good shot.
Yeah.
That was a good shot.
So
It was a good smash, and it went to center mass of her opponent, right into Elk Grove.
so
Those are almost impossible to hit.
to reach turn. They go over like ground rules and lets and everything before a game. So there's a replay slash what?
Well, it like you said, it depends on the gym. Like in Elk Grove, we've got equipment that's hanging from the roof. We've got beams. So depending on what it hits and where it hits, makes it.
Okay. As that game's finishing up there, we have
It looks like
there's a doubles right here and to our right. Okay. But those are the conclusions of the varsity matches. So is there anything else that you were looking forward to in like just saying like this is what we saw kind of thing and
today, without knowing the scores and what have you, the girls were trying hard. I think it's just a little bit more practice,
Yeah.
a little bit more training, but we're probably getting pretty close to the end of the season.
and games that covering today third match. So you would say between the two.
They were competitive.
Yeah. So we'll be right back here at Elk Grove High School tomorrow, April 21st, with boys varsity volleyball. The Grens will take on Buffalo Grove at 6 p.m. right back here. Watch it live on Comcast channel, EGTV website at eg-tv.org. And you can also watch all the games that EGTV covers, including this one at a later date and time by going to the YouTube or on-demand link on the EGTV website. So for badminton, from Scott, Debbie, Ryan, she's Katie Weiner, I'm Chris Randall, and we will see you soon.
a community-wide food drive with the Elk Grove Township Food Pantry from April 6th through April 20th. In honor of the village's incorporation in 1956, the goal is to collect 19,560 items to benefit local families in need. The pantry is especially in need of jams and spreads, cooking oils, rice, pasta, condiments, soap, toothpaste, diapers, and toilet paper. Donations can be dropped off Monday through Friday at the Village Hall Atrium during regular business hours. Help us support local families and celebrate 70 years of Elk Grove Village.
Do this again next year?